This week on The Startup Life.
Because you don't succeed in something, it doesn't mean that you failed. It
Gotcha.
just means that maybe it wasn't the right thing or maybe it wasn't the right time.
All right, Startup Nation, so let's take flight with Tiffany Perry, founder of the Wonderblush blog. The Startup Life begins now.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Hey, Startup Nation, do you enjoy the startup life? Now you can let the world know with gear from the show. Choose from the Label Yourself, Make Your Own Luck, and Making Money t-shirts to tell your story of your path of entrepreneurship. Click the link in the show notes to purchase. All right, Startup Nation, so I hope you're ready to receive some value today. We're here with Miss Tiffany Perry. How you doing, Miss Tiffany?
Awesome. How are you doing? Thank you.
I'm great. You ready to pour some knowledge in Startup Nation today?
Very, very ready.
Awesome. Let's do it. So, Miss Perry, tell me your story behind your path of entrepreneurship.
Well, I've always wanted to live a life that's my own.
Sure.
A life that truly, just makes me happy, something that is mine. So one day I realized, you know what? I can do this. I can be my own person. I can have my own business. I can live a life for myself. And I've just been going towards that goal ever since.
Awesome. So let me ask you this. What inspires you as an entrepreneur and why?
Well, I pursue what I'm passionate about, and
Gotcha.
my passion and the passions of others in the same field that I'm in is what inspires me. So to see other people getting passionate about wine, about food, about travel is just something that really inspires me.
Understood. And tell Startup Nation a little bit about what it is that you do.
Sure. So I have a blog called Wonder Blush, play on Wanderlust.
Gotcha.
WDER. On the blog, I talk about wine. I share tips. I share recommendations, what I'm drinking now, what I'm loving, travel tips, different regions. Pretty soon, I'm getting ready to open up a shop on the site.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. And hopefully we'll be able to interview some people in the wine, food, and travel field as well pretty soon.
Gotcha. Oh, that's pretty dope. So let me ask you this. What do you wish you would have known before you started your blog?
Everything that I know now.
Gotcha. For sure.
But I guess if I had to choose one thing, I would say probably the social media marketing piece. When to post, what platform, just different things to get people engaged and help build the audience.
Gotcha. Now, so when you talk about, when to post, what to post, and on what platform to post, I guess it was kind of a trial by fire type situation. What are some of the tips that you picked up along the way?
I actually had some help from entrepreneur friends and friends that are in the marketing field.
Gotcha.
And I would say one of the major things that I learned was to post where your following is.
For sure.
You can't be everything to every person. So if the people that are interested in you post on Instagram or follow Instagram, post on Instagram. If they're into Facebook, go to Facebook. If they like Twitter, go to Twitter. But don't try to be on every platform because you'll just stretch yourself too thin and then your audience won't be there. That's the major thing that I've learned to that.
Gotcha. And Startup Nation, I hope you picked up on that. What she's saying is kind of really focus on, your, one or two particular social media, platforms, because like a business idea, if you try to service and market to everybody, you'll service and market nobody. So thank you for pointing that out, Ms. Perry. That's an excellent point. So let me ask you this. What do you learn from the worst boss you've ever had? Be nice.
Well, I guess I will say the thing that I can say and be nice is I didn't learn this from the worst boss that I've ever had, but it did reinforce it for me.
For sure.
Just to treat everyone with respect. every single person with respect because everyone has value. From the CEO of the company down to the janitor, every person has value.
Understood. You know what? We live in this day and age where people think leadership or being a boss or being a manager, if you will, is all about like you have to be tough, right? Like you have to be the strong arm, hard nose, whatever. Where do you think that comes from?
I don't know. I think society has taught us to be a good leader. You have to be stern.
Gotcha.
Or tough or a bully to be able to be successful.
Right.
And a lot of the people that we see out there that are successful portray that persona, but I don't think that's really the way to go.
Right.
And there are a lot of positive people out there that are successful that we could take a look at. For example, President Obama,
right.
First Lady Michelle Obama, right. Oprah, a lot of positive people on the other side that we could take.
Absolutely. It's almost like, like TV and movie kind of portray that persona a little bit as well, right?
Exactly.
Like movies and stuff like that, for sure. Thank you for sharing that. Now, you talked a little bit about social media, as far as like, getting the word out there about your blog and everything else. How else do you market or advertise? Does word of mouth or the other platforms that you use outside of social media, what works best for you?
I found actually the best way for social media at paid advertising would be through Facebook ads. That's
Gotcha.
The best way that I found to build buzz towards my blog. But
Gotcha.
also through word of mouth, through going to different conventions where wine lovers are going to be, where travel lovers are going to be, where food lovers are going to be, getting out and about and meeting, your audience and having them spread the word for you. I think that's also a great way to help build buzz.
For sure. Thank you for sharing that. Now, Miss Tiffany, what did you learn from your biggest failure?
Just to never give up. Because you don't succeed in something, it doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that maybe it wasn't the right thing or maybe it wasn't the right time, and just take what you learn from that experience and bring it with you to the next opportunity.
For sure. So basically the little engine that could doctrine, right?
Exactly.
Gotcha. For sure. Thank you for sharing that. Now, some entrepreneurs consider themselves lifelong learners. They're always engaged in professional development, things of that nature. So what does that mean to you, and what are you learning now? Are you reading any books? Do you read any other blogs? What does professional development look like for you?
Yeah, to me, it just means always wanting to improve myself and improve my business and just live my best life. So yeah, I'm always reading. I'm always learning, listening to audiobooks, listening podcasts, reading blogs, reading articles, webinar series, anything I can get my hands on. Right now, I'm just focused on learning how to launch and run my shop.
Understood.
So I'm doing a lot of webinars on e-commerce right now.
Okay. Awesome stuff. And last question before we go to break. Some say entrepreneurs need some type of formal education, and some say all you need is an idea and work ethic. So Tiffany, where do you stand on that spectrum?
Well, I'm a proponent of education, but I think education should be about what you're passionate about.
Understood.
So say you want to be a jazz musician, right? Learn how to be a jazz musician. Learn from a master, learn to read and interpret music, practice your craft, listen to the great. And Trig, those are great tools, but you wouldn't necessarily need them to be a jazz musician.
Gotcha.
So I think the same goes with entrepreneurship. Just learn your craft, learn from a master. If you have an idea, go for it. If it's a success, great. If it's not, great. Just take that and use it to fuel you towards your next adventure.
I hear that. Just roll those life points over into the next adventure, right?
Life is education.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. How you like being on the Startup Life so far, Miss Perry?
I'm loving it.
Awesome stuff. All right, Startup Nation, I hope you're getting great value from Tiffany, but we got to pay some bills. Once again, my name is Dominic Lawson, and you're listening to The Startup Life. Memphis, are you ready to level up? Join me May 5th as I lead the Al Academy's Entrepreneurship 101 workshop. Together, we will create your elevator pitch, work on problem-solving techniques, and so much more to get your path of entrepreneurship off to a great start. All attendees will take home an entrepreneurship startup kit, coupons for additional resources, and a chance to win mentoring sessions with some of Memphis's top entrepreneurial minds. So join us May 5th at Union Center, 10th floor classroom at 1331 Union Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee, 38104. Can't wait to see you there. Check out the link in the show notes. All right, Startup Nation. So let's continue. So Miss Perry, before we get back into the questions, tell us about like your most favorite adventure on your, that you've talked about in your blog and you talked about in your travels or wherever the case may be.
I would say the favorite wine experience I've ever had was a trip to Florence.
Oh, wow.
A couple of back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I actually got to go and spend the evening at a winery and was able to do a tour of the vineyard and have a wine and food tasting dinner, and just learn everything about the winery, about the different wines, about the products and foods that they grew on the vineyard and the farm. And it was just a really, really beautiful experience. I met a bunch of different people, amazing people from so many different amazing places. And, it was just a beautiful experience.
I bet. Thank you for sharing. I bet that was amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, it was very amazing.
Gotcha. Well, let me ask you this. What's that dream destination that you want to write about, that you want to go to?
Ooh. I say it's always changing for me.
Gotcha. Fair enough. So what is it now then? Okay.
Right now, I would say Australia.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay.
To just go start in Sydney and then go into Adelaide, Barossa Valley, just travel around the country, going to the different wine regions, going to the different vineyards, meeting the people that make the wine, meeting the people that are involved in growing and bottling and selling.
For sure.
And just people that enjoy it and interpret it into their foods and into their dinner tables. I think that would be a great experience.
Awesome. It already sounds amazing. For sure.
And seeing the kangaroos and koalas.
Oh yeah, gotta see those for sure. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Let me ask you this: what was the best piece and worst piece of advice you've ever gotten from someone?
I'd say the best advice that I've ever received would be to never give up. Go for what you want, go for your goal, work towards it, never give up no matter what happens.
Gotcha.
I'd say the worst piece of advice, and from someone that not everyone has the entrepreneurial spirit, so
for sure,
but I would say the worst piece of advice would be to play it safe.
And why do you think that? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, if that's who you are, that's great. If it is for you, that's great. But
Gotcha.
For someone that has the entrepreneurial spirit, I would say that could be the worst advice ever.
Absolutely right, because it's almost kind of like you're leaving a few plays out there on the field, right? And so it's like you're playing it safe, and then it doesn't really get you anywhere.
Exactly.
No, I definitely understand that. Thank you for sharing that for sure. What's a popular misconception about running a business or starting a blog for that matter?
I would say that it's something extremely lofty. Like not everyone can do it. Like it's something that's totally unachievable to go out and do. But I think that if you're willing to work for something, you have an idea, you have a dream, you have a goal, and you're willing to work for it, you do it. You can go out there and you can be successful.
Gotcha. So, and the name of the blog is called Wonder Blush, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm saying it right. So how did you get dive a little bit more into the idea or the concept as to why you decided to call it that?
For anyone that knows me knows that I love puns.
Gotcha.
Yes, I'm very...
Well, you are a writer, so that makes complete sense. So
I love puns. I'm always coming up with different plays on words. So I love the word wanderlust, which means to have a passion for travel, a lust
Right.
for travel. So for me, I have a lust and a passion for wine,
Gotcha.
and I want to go out there and, taste different wines, meet different people, see where it's grown, learn about the history of wine.
For sure.
So for me, that's where that the term comes, wanderblush.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool deal. Cool deal. So we're going to shift just a little bit because, given, our current political climate and social issues, climate is that and the other, do you believe entrepreneurs have an obligation to take on or give commentary on social issues at all?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
To whom much is given, I think much is expected, right?
I hear that
So,
for sure.
yes, as entrepreneurs, I think we have a moral obligation to speak out and to
Interesting.
speak, whether that be through words or through actions.
Mm-hmm.
If we see ill or injustice in the world, I think that is our duty to speak out.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing that. And I asked that question to many of my guests, and I hear different many, ends of the spectrum. I hear some like, nah, that's not my space, or some like, say, or they kind of share your view as far as like, it's a more obligation if we are out here and we're, profiting from people that are afflicted from said social issues or whatever the case may be. We have a obligation to kind of, say something about it. And some people just sit on the fence and they say, like, I don't think about it. So I appreciate you sharing your perspective for sure. So I know in your travels and everything, you don't probably deal with a whole bunch of clients, but let's say you went somewhere and you thought it was going to be awesome and maybe it didn't turn out not so much to write about. Has that ever happened before?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
I guess you can go somewhere and maybe you get to an environment and it's not, maybe the service isn't great, maybe the food isn't the best, it's just not, the experience isn't just what you think it was. And for me on my blog, I just choose not to do negative publicity.
Understood.
If it's an experience that I don't vibe with, I just don't write about it. I choose to share what I love on my blog. So that's what I do.
Understood. Just keep it positive, huh?
Keep it positive, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let me ask you this. Why, would someone, read your blog? Why would somebody should read your blog over somebody else's blog? Or when you talk about your store a little bit, why should somebody buy something from your store as opposed to somebody else's store?
Good question. Because I care.
I got you.
No, I'm not just in it to make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm passionate. Like I said before, I'm passionate about what I do. I love what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I write an article or when I start creating products, I put that love and that passion into every ounce of what I'm delivering to my readers or to, my clients, my buyers. So I just respect people. I mean, there are a lot of blogs, there are a lot of shops out there that people could be spending their time, spending their money on.
Right.
So I'm just so thankful when someone takes that time or chooses to spend their money on something that I'm putting out there. So I want what they get from me to be a positive and pleasant experience from start to finish.
Thank you for sharing that. So let me ask you this, Tiffany. Who are your mentors? Is Oprah on that list?
Yes.
Okay. I only said that because you mentioned her earlier. So
I would definitely say Oprah is on that list.
Gotcha.
So many people. I think you can learn from everyone. I do. From Oprah to, like I said before, Barack and Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
Mom to other entrepreneurs and people that I've met along the way. I consider them to be mentors to me.
Understood. So let me ask you this. I believe all entrepreneurs have a superpower. Tiffany, what's yours and why?
I would have to say that my superpower is superhuman patience.
Gotcha. Superhuman patience. Gotcha. Is it one of those things where you get tested on that quite often or okay?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just, what I mean by that is that I've always been okay with not needing immediate gratification. Slow and steady wins the race. I know I'm working towards my goal. I know I'm going to make it to my goal. If I don't see immediate payoff, I'm okay with that. As I know I'm going to make it there.
Understood. And I think that's an important virtue because in entrepreneurship, we get, like again, kind of going back to the TVs and movies, we see the TV and movie and we hear scale, fast, and got to have profit now, and all this other case. And I think a lot of times entrepreneurs, or aspiring entrepreneurs, they see that in your movies and your TVs and they feel that's how they have to run a business. Like you have to get that instant gratification. And if you don't get that instant gratification, you get discouraged really quickly. And a lot of times they quit. So I appreciate you sharing that for sure. Let me ask you this. This is the part of the show where, you get to promote the blog, you get to promote the website, you get to promote the e-commerce store, any events you got coming up. The floor is yours to put the Wonder Blush and Tiffany Perry all out there for the world to see.
Awesome. So thank you for having me first and foremost. But definitely Wonder Blush, WanderBlush, Wander, BLUSH, wanderblush.com, at Wonder Blush on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, at Wonder Blush blog on Pinterest. And so on the blog, I focus on articles related to everything wine. So it's really focused on wine, food, and travel lover, travel recommendations, tips, interviews, etc., and soon be wine products and wine products. So yeah, definitely check that out.
Awesome. Real quick, Miss Perry, before we wrap up our session, how often do you get free wine when you write about some of the places that you go to?
Quite common.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Awesome. I had to get that in there real quick. So before we wrap up, any last or parting advice for any inspiring entrepreneurs out there?
Yeah, I would just say you can do it. Don't listen to the negativity out there. You have an idea, you have a goal, you know what you're working towards. Just focus on that. Focus your energy on the positive. Don't focus your energy on the negative. There's always going to be negativity out there. Just take the good and go for that.
Understood. Thank you for sharing that. And that's going to wrap up this session of the Startup Life. Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, no worries. We love to have you, and we probably have to bring you back after you come back from Australia for sure. All right, Startup Nation. So here's my final take. Tiffany Perry is the quintessential entrepreneur that really takes what she loves to do and turned it into a business. Usually her travels, for the average person would be somewhere to go on vacation, but for her, she saw an opportunity and to talk about the wine and the scenery and the different places that she visits. And I really can't wait to hear from her after she takes that Australia trip. If you want to let us know what you think about our show, have an idea for a show topic, or like to advertise on our show, send us a message on the Startup Life Podcast Facebook page. And while you're there, like and follow our page as well. It's a new way for us to engage with you, Startup Nation, and really grow our community. The link is here in the show notes. Subscribe to the show as it can now be heard on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, and SoundCloud. If you are listening on iTunes and you find our content valuable, please give us a 5-star rating, as it will help us climb the charts and help more people find our show. And hey, if you have an idea, be about that life, the Startup Life.